What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Comically Boston. This is episode 53. Today is April 13th, 2023. Today is a great episode. The NBA playoffs have started. The Celtics will face the Atlanta Hawks on Saturday. They will play at 3:30 in round one. Then game 2 Tuesday night. Game 3 will be next Friday. And game 4 will be Sunday of next week, April 23rd. And then games 5, 6, and 7 will be the 25th, 27th, and 29th, if needed. Not too bad. Getting the playoffs kicked off this week on ESPN, 3:30, round 1, baby. Can't wait. It's been a great season. Jason Tatum finished the regular season with the total. He led all scorers this year in not points per game average, I think. I think Embiid got that. But Tatum played more, so I don't know. Do we take the average or do we take the total points? If we're going by total points, through week 25 of the NBA, all players, Tatum led all players with 2,225 points. Embiid was 2,183 points. He was behind him. But Tatum, he's in good company. He's above Embiid, Luka Doncic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's above Giannis. And he played more, which is important to me at least. But we went and saw Mario the other night. That was great, and some great news for the Mario. The Super Mario Bros. Movie broke box office records over the weekend, earning over $375.6 million globally. It is now the highest earning animated movie of all time in just one weekend. Me and Danny Hines and Barnard went Monday night, and it was very, very funny movie, and it really scratched an itch that I didn't know I needed. I was like, damn, I haven't played Mario or Nintendo games since the Wii or like the Game Boy or the GameCube back in the day, and it really made me scratch an itch, so I went and got a Nintendo Switch. So that's in the mail, that's on its way, but this came first. Super Smash Bros. Coming to a console near me, so I'm going to be busting ass. I always like to play as Kirby. Don't ask why. Or Bowser. Bowser's just my boy. Or Donkey Kong. But I'm not picky. I'll play as whoever. But this is hype, though, because this is probably going to mean future of Mario Cinematic Universe. There could be a Donkey Kong movie. There could just be Mario 2, a Luigi's Haunted Mansion, that type of stuff. They could go down the route of, like, Star Fox or, that whole route, too. So I'm very curious on what they're doing. They could end up leading their way to a Super Smash Bros. Movie. That would be dope. But it only cost Illumination like $100 million to make this movie, so they already doubled, tripled their money within the first weekend. So I think they're ecstatic with how it came out. They didn't think it was going to do this well, and it's doing much better than people think. And Chris Pratt's Mario voice is better than expected, and Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong is hilarious, but Jack Black as Bowser is perfection. There's nothing better. Peaches! Oh, Peaches! He is Bowser. He's just too funny. Oh, man. There was a new trailer this week for the Marvels. I should maybe make a video about that, reacting to that trailer. Some people are hating on that. There's some men on the internet I've been seeing that are like, the MCU instead of the MCU. The MCU is becoming terrible, and they're mad at like Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, and like women characters. Women are far better than men, my friend. So I don't know what people's beef is. They're like, we just want to see our men be superheroes. Like, that's the gayest thing I've ever heard of in my life. Women can't be superheroes? The fuck? That's so lame. Like Justice League wouldn't be shit without Wonder Woman. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, Marvel's Avengers needed Scarlett Johansson, or it would have been wrong. It would have been a big old sausage fest, and there would have just been a bunch of dudes standing in a circle. But with that being said, the strongest Avenger, and glad to see him back on his feet, Jeremy Renner has been out and about doing his thing. He's hobbling around. I love to see it. He is the strongest Avenger. Man got ran over by a friggin' tractor, like a snow plow, and eye popped out of his head, broke 30-something bones, and he's up and walking. He was on Jimmy Kimmel the other night. He has a cane, and he looks good. He's talking. He's smiling. He's grateful, and I'm very happy to see Jeremy back. Shout out to him. Also, some more Marvel news. Breaking Deadpool 3 news. Stefan Kapakic, who played Colossus, he's going to be returning. So Colossus back in Deadpool 3. So that's kind of cool. And there was also a confirmation that the lady that plays Vanessa is going to be back. So I wonder if Negasonic Teenage Warhead's back as well. That's just a badass name. Negasonic Teenage what the shit biscuit? You know, like, he goes, that's the coolest name ever. You know, like, it's just funny, but can't wait for that. Some more casting news for them. A teaser poster came out for a John Wick series for the Continental. A little, you know, teaser picture with blood on this, what's that, like a button panel, you know, like the elevator button panel to select which floor you're going to, and it's the Continental C, and it says prepare for check-in, which it doesn't seem like they're going to the lobby, so why would they prepare for check-in? And there's blood on the little panel, and there's, as we can see, there's 8 numbers, 7, 8, 9, 10. Number 9 is the floor they selected, don't know why. There's 11, 12, and then as most hotels do, they skip the 13th floor and they have floor 14 and 15. So maybe in this Continental, the 13th floor is meaningful. There's something going on there. Who knows? Who knows? Let's talk some more about what went on this week. There was a Penguin in production trailer, which looks great. I actually have this trailer queued up, ready to go. So why don't we play the Penguin in production trailer and talk about that real quick.
This is one of those moments when you gotta ask yourself, what kind of life do I want? The world ain't built for guys like us. That's why we gotta take whatever we decide is ours. It's Carmine Falcone's right hand, trying to push me out. Whoa, hey! You ain't seen what I can do. If you step out of line, even once, I'll gut you like a goddamn fish. Can you imagine? The people saying my name in the streets after you're gone. If it means something. The new kingpin of Gotham.
Whew. Colin Farrell, baby, looking like a sadistic killing bastard. The laugh at the end of that trailer, he's and he shoots the guy, and then it cuts into the Penguin coming 2024. And then HBO Max changed their name to Max. What? And apparently they're changing their name to Max because of that Warner Brothers Discovery merger, and they've gone down. They merged 2 companies into one, and they went down 6%. So people were like, listen, we don't care. Like, we don't care that you guys are trying to monopoly and do some shit. We don't care. Just give us shit to watch, and maybe we'll watch your shit. And now they're changing the colors to blue with the Max. I don't know, I like the purple better. That's all I'm saying. But the Penguin series looks fucking amazing. Colin Farrell, Matt Reeves. I love the little, like, intense music in the background. Obviously, some of the shots you can see cameramen and boom mics in because it's in production. It's not quite ready, but they seem like they got some shots ready to go. You know, there's scenes of him shooting people that look like they're shot. There's scenes of him pulling up in cars that look like they're fully shot. You know, the city is, after we last saw it in the Batman movie, it's underwater, so some dope shit. And I love when we see Colin Farrell walking up the train steps, and he kind of looks like a penguin. You know, he's doing the penguin walk, so this is maybe going to be how we really officially see Oswald Cobblepot become the Penguin. You know, like, he was the Penguin in Batman, but everyone called him Oz, you know, like, in this we're going to see Oz become this gangster kingpin of Gotham. The new kingpin to Gotham, you know, and I love Colin Farrell's accent in it. He's, you know, got this real dark and sinister, hey, Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just a proprietor. You know, like, he's just got a great voice for the, hey, chalupe, baby. You know, like, he's got this real thick New York accent, but gotta love it. And then Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 7, Chapter 23, The Spies. Who are the spies? This episode opens up on Katie O'Brien. She's walking, and she ends up walking over to like a holo messenger thing, or a drone like scans her. She tells it a code, and then she gets to message Moff Gideon, the return of Giancarlo Esposito. And then we see Moff Gideon goes and deals. He says he's going to go deal with the Mandalorians, Din Djarin and Bo-Katan. The Empire has a little war meeting. So maybe they're referring to this little war meeting that happened. Maybe these are the spies. They're Empire spies that are still trying to get the Empire to reign supreme over the galaxy. But really, right now, it's supposed to be the New Republic, and there's not supposed to be any Empire stuff happening. But clearly, there's a group of people still executing Empire orders. One being Moff Gideon, when he was supposed to be in a prison cell somewhere. So he got broken out, and now he's gone. At this war meeting, this Empire war meeting, Gideon says he's going to stamp out the Mandalorians for good on Mandalore, because he thinks they're gearing to take back, so they are. Then the title screen hits, The Spies. Who are these spies? Is the Armorer the spy? Is that one of these Mandalorian members of the team a spy? I don't know. I really don't know. But so we see two Mandalorian groups going to meet on Mandalore, or not on Mandalore. They meet on Navarro first, because they just got land from Grief Karga. So I think initially Grief Karga was like, yeah, it's just going to be Mando and his couple friends there. They're all there, and then a big Imperial light cruiser with a mythosaur skull painted on the bottom of the light cruiser pulls into town, and he's like, oh good, it looks like it's Empire, but it's actually friendlies, it's actually Mandalorians. So they pull up and they come out with a bunch of troops, and now we have a big team of Mandalorians, and I can only classify them as the helmets and the helmetless. I think one of them is Night Owls or Night Watch, and one of them is Death Watch or The Watch, something like that. All I know is they're both Mandalorians. They both play badass characters, and that just is what it is, baby. But things happen. The Armorer invites them to make camp and feast. Bo-Katan gives this great speech about how they're going to Mandalore and they need to save it, and blah, 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 blah. Grief Karga gives Mando booze and shows him IG-11, which has now been transferred to IG-12, which is more like a vehicle piloted by Grogu. It was initially piloted by one of those little Babu Fricks. Babu, the little thing, walks by Grogu and he's like, no, bad baby, no squeeze. You know, like from the earlier episode where he hugs him. This episode gave you everything you wanted, but it felt long. Like they felt like they smushed a lot into it. But for an hour-long episode, this one was hype. There was a lot going on. It was very good. Bo asked them to, you know, she needs 2 volunteers from each side to go, or not 2, but she needs volunteers from each team, or each section, the helmets and the helmetless, if you will, and to recon of the Mandalore surface, find the Great Forge, and they're going to retake Mandalore, and it's time, and Bo-Katan's going to lead them, and nobody offers up volunteer first, so Din offers himself and Grogu stands, and he's like, yeah, Dad offered me, but I'll go too, why not? Grogu's now walking around in this little IG-12 suit, so you get Taika's yes, no. It's cool, but it's not. Because there's like, it's cool that Grogu now has a way to communicate a little bit. You know, he can say yes or no. All I'm saying is they need a "this is the way" button. You know, yes, no, this is the way. Like, this is, at least he can communicate. Yes, no, this is the way. You know, like, but either way, he gets to get around a little bit. Gets to control this little suit. And Baby Grogu is 50 years old in his species, so he's not exactly a child. He is little. But as Yoda said in Episode 6 of Star Wars, size matters not. So I want to see Grogu end up talking and being real cool. But he's only 50. Yoda was 900. So we got some time before there's Master Grogu, if you will. So they end up going to Mandalore. They break down. They get to the surface. They're scouting the surface. They're walking around. Then these like pirates pull up on them, and they're like, "It is that Lady Bo-Katan?" And she's like, "It is." And they fly over, and one of the Mandalorians on this little pirate barge is Skinny Pete from fucking Breaking Bad. That shit made me laugh so hard. I was like, I'm Skinny Pete! You know, if you guys know Breaking Bad, there's this one scene where this dude and Jesse walk up to the drug dealer's house, and the guy knocks on the door, and it's like security's at the door, looks at him and stops him, and the guy looks at him and goes, I'm Skinny Pete! You know, like, it's so dumb, but it's so funny. So, we get on Skinny Pete's ship, and then Paz and some other dude, the dude that Bo-Katan had to beat in a little one-on-one battle in the last episode, Paz and him go at it over the rules of this chess game, because Paz plays one way because they're from one faction, and the other team plays one way because they're from another faction. So, clearly, they have different cultures, different ways of doing things. But it's still a simple game of chess. But these Mandalorians you either fight or you submit. So these Mandalorians, they fight, and no one else can break up the fight. They just have to go at it. So they're going at it. They're fighting. No Mandalorians break up the fight. They're just waiting to see who dies first. And who steps in but Grogu in the IG-12 suit, and he breaks it up. No, he just keeps slamming the no button, which is hilarious because it's just no. It's not like different pitches of no, it's just the same no over and over again. And Bo goes, you taught your apprentice well. Din's like, I didn't teach him that. I taught him to fight. You know, I didn't teach him to break up fights, because clearly Luke in the Jedi, the peace of the galaxy, taught Grogu that. So you see a little bit. But right after that fight, a big kaiju, it comes breaking up out of the ground and has like one of those dinosaur club tails, whatever creature that is, whatever dinosaur. But this kaiju breaks up out of the surface, slams the club tail into the ship blows up. Paz and the dude that were just fighting grab either side of IG-12 and get Grogu up out of there, because they have to abandon ship. Some of them don't make it, but most of them do, and then they end up making their way down to the forge, and they're like underground now, and then they end up getting ambushed by Moff's Imperial troopers that we saw earlier in the episode. Moff has, and then it gets further into it, and we end up seeing Moff has a black Mando suit of armor, which is like Beskar made, and has his own helmet with horns, so he's technically like Darth Maul's Mandalorian helmets, but I don't know, man. Somehow Darth Maul, I think, fits into this situation, but I'm not quite sure how. But these white Imperial guards end up running away, and the Mandos are chasing them down, and they end up into this more developed part of the forge that doesn't look that run down like the place should be if the place was abandoned, and they end up running into an Imperial hangar. The Empire has built a hangar with TIE bombers and interceptors and troops, and so they ran right into another ambush, and Din Djarin, the last time we see him, he is bound by the neck. He's got two things around his arms. He's crossed up. He's got these two Imperial soldiers over him, and he's in tough shape. We don't know what happens to him. He just kind of gets taken off, and Moff says we'll deal with him after type thing. And then Bo-Katan has to cut a hole in the wall so the rest of them can escape, and Paz lays down fire. So he's got his gun and he's laying down, he's covering people, and then Bo finally goes, all right, we're clear, come on. But if he came, then the rest of those people would have just ran after him, followed him through the hole. So Paz shuts the door, makes sure that these people can't follow them, and Bo's all sad. She's like, no, Paz. Paz shoots until his gun literally is on fire, melting, and then he tackles, clotheslines a few people, pushes some people off the edge of this landing area, and they fall to their death. And then poor Paz, these three red what I can only describe as Snoke's Imperial guards, they're like they're like the real, you know, they're like the highest level of these troopers. So he in Moth had requested these 3 guards earlier in the show, and clearly he needed them because Paz single-handedly took out the rest of the troopers by himself with him and his minigun, which he did have a minigun, but he took him out by himself, and then these 3 freaking red guys possibly kill Paz. That might be the end of Paz, which I really want to see an unmasking and see Jon Favreau's face. But I also think the way they just cut on him laying on the ground, you know what I mean? Like, so I think he could be dead very well, because Mandalorian has killed people like Queel before, and they're not afraid to kill characters that people like. So, but at the same time, Paz, you know, made a sacrifice. So does he sacrifice himself and that's the end of the episode? He's dead and then we go on to the next episode? Or is the next episode going to be we wake up with Paz going, you know, like we're going to be same shot of him dead and he's going to gasp for air or something. And he's not going to be all that dead, or Bo-Katan's going to grab him and spray him with Bacta or something, get him in the Bacta tank. So I don't know, but I really hope Paz isn't dead, and I really hope Mando is not in that big of trouble. I thought Mando was going to die for a second. I'm like, they're going to kill Mandalorian? Like, the guy? Like, this is his show. But now it seems like he can become his own side character. Like, he's the main character, but he's a side character in Bo-Katan's story. So it's like, it's dope, but we want Mando. We want Mando and Grogu to be the forefront of the show. We want to see him wielding the Darksaber and then hand it over to Grogu, and Grogu can wield the Darksaber. Oh, God, it's going to be dope. But comment below, what did you think of this Mandalorian episode? What did you think of the Penguin trailer? And do you think the Celtics are going to beat the Atlanta Hawks' ass this Saturday in the playoffs? Comment below. Also, did you go watch Mario this weekend? If you didn't, from a person that did see it, it's a great freaking film. It's you know, it's not anything like crazy that you should expect, like, oh, it's a big twist. It's an animated film. It's fun. It's a good time. It's exactly what you would expect. And for people that played Mario as a kid, it really gives you some things, some payoffs, and some things that are you know, very reminiscent from your childhood. So go check that out if you haven't. And stay tuned. Hit that bell if you want to see future videos. Smash the subscribe button for me. I'm Big Cam. At me on Twitter. I'll leave my links in the description below. Smash that like button. And I'll see you guys next week. Alright? Peace.